Ferrari eliminated, neither going through to the final part of qualifying. The cheers and the celebrations in the Williams garage. Sainz will start 11th, out qualifying Charles Leclerc, Ricciardo 13th, Alonso 14th, 15th for Antonio Giovinazzi. Giovinazzi was 3/10 slower in Q2 than he was in Q1. And Fernando Alonso, well, he did a 4.9 despite the biggest slam on the brakes he'll have ever had to do at turn 10. He could well have been up there in the top 10.
Would have been in the top 10 and would have knocked Russell out.
Yeah.
But didn't, and Sebastian Vettel will take a grid drop for that 100%.
Talk to me. Talk to me.
So it's currently P10, so we're through, mate. Well done.
Come on, boys, on the mediums. Yes, 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 yes. That's awesome. Nice one.
6,000ths quicker than Carlos Sainz. That's the gap from through and out. But it's the Williams who's ahead of the Ferrari. Vintage Williams this is.
It's a great job, and especially when you know Latifi's been getting better, and as I think Andrew Benson was saying, I can't remember if it was this session or in free practice because everything just blurs into one, but Latifi's halved his deficit to Russell overall this year. Here's Sainz's radio.
P11. Aye, nearly.
He's all relaxed there.
Yeah, all
when
nearly.
When he finds out a Williams is in Q3, it might be more of a surprise. But we said before there was pressure on Russell, a little bit more pressure on Russell than usual because he was 11th last time out. Can he back that up with a better drive? Yes. He's really strong, and he can go for some soft tyres now and perhaps find even more pace and get ahead of an Aston Martin or a Yuki Tsunoda.
What the I cannot believe it. Me neither, mate.
So that was Alonso. And basically Vettel is backing off, I think, to try and get himself some... He's seen Alonso coming and like floored it, got all squirmy coming out of the final corner because he's seen Alonso arriving and gone, oh dear. But I don't know why Vettel didn't get across the line to start a lap. It was like he was waiting too long or something.
There was a Red Bull that was just ahead
Perez.
of Vettel. It was Perez ahead of Vettel. Perez didn't improve, so could start on the medium tyre as well. But that's why Vettel was bunched up, and it was actually exactly what Ron Meadows was talking about at the start of Q1. It was too late to do anything about it because we were in the session. But that's the issue. It's Perez backing up Sebastian Vettel. Vettel then has to go slow because you can't start a flying lap right on the gearbox of the car ahead. And so then Vettel has no option but to go slow and prepare his own lap. And then Alonso steaming up behind. Now Vettel should have been warned by his engineer that Alonso was coming through and at least get miles off the racing line. Problem was Vettel ran out of time for his own lap anyway. Yeah. He had to get on with it. So real mess there for Aston Martin, and Sebastian Vettel has done well. He's in 7th place in Q3, but he will take a 3-place grid drop and the wrath of Fernando Alonso.
Yeah, and Vettel knew it as well. They went side by side up towards turn 1 with Vettel just holding his hand out saying, you know, sorry.
I've been there myself as well. At this circuit, I blocked Kimi Raikkonen in 2016. And it was in Q1. I knew I did it. I didn't mean to, but I wasn't told about him coming up behind me. And then next thing you know, there's a Ferrari flying around turn 9 into turn 10. And I knew I blocked him. You apologise, you know, you don't
Did you go up and speak to him afterwards?
I had to with the stewards.
Oh, really?
And he wasn't best pleased about it either, I tell you.
Did he have a go at you?
Well, he had to use an extra set of tyres at that point, and he was in a Ferrari.
Yeah.
So it was a bit... He didn't really have a go at me, but he was pretty unhappy at the situation that caused him to use an extra set of tyres in Q1. It didn't really affect the rest of his qualifying, but it's just one of those unfortunate situations where you need to have information on the radio. When you're going slowly, preparing your own lap, cars fly around the final corner so quickly, and they're onto you from 9 into 10. You can't see them coming in your mirrors. It needs to be relayed on the radio. So Vettel will know what he's done, and he'll know he's going to take a grid drop now as well.
So Gasly, Vettel, Tsunoda and Stroll, that's 4 of the midfield runners inside the top 10, are going to be starting the race on the soft tyre. And so, you know, even if Russell qualifies 10th, let's say, in the Williams, which I think he's got a chance of doing better, but he's also on a better strategy than a lot of those midfield runners. He's in for a good day tomorrow, I think.
And everyone behind him will only start on the medium or the hard, but
Yeah.
he's at no disadvantage for making the top 10. That's the brilliant thing for Russell. He's putting on the mediums a stroke of genius for Williams, and he's got a chance to pick off more as well. And if he can stay at least within 3 places of Vettel, then he's probably going to start ahead of him.
Jenny.
Thanks, Jack. I just on the Williams thing, I just think it's fabulous, and I don't know who was cheering louder, the Williams garage or the fans that have been allowed into the Red Bull Ring this weekend, but the absolutely jubilant scenes for George Russell managing to get through into the final part of qualifying in that Williams car, and it's great for the team. They've obviously worked incredibly hard, and at the end of a back-to-back, you're shattered. They have worked round the clock at all the hours they've been allowed to. So it's a really nice reward for them. Let's see what he can go out and do in the final part of qualifying. A lot of attention on the front left of the front wing for the Williams team at the moment. Just having a look at that. I don't know whether he's knocked it slightly when he was out there on one of the curbs. Also worth saying, Derek Warwick is the driver's steward this weekend, so he'll be the man deciding what the punishment will be for Sebastian Vettel. It is being investigated by the stewards after the session, but as Jolien says, it's a standard penalty, 3 places, done. Unless they think it's more dangerous and award it more, but it's not like he maliciously did it, is it?
No, that won't be a hard decision for Derek to make. I don't think it's pretty straightforward, the impeding incidents anyway, and it's a more dangerous situation, but the infringement is the same.
Right. Final part of qualifying coming up. Verstappen, Hamilton, Bottas, Gasly, Norris, Perez, Vettel, Tsunoda, Stroll and Russell are the 10 drivers that are going to be competing. Verstappen on pole in Spielberg earlier this year. Hamilton and Bottas on pole last year. Leclerc in 2019. Bottas in 2018. Someone tweeted me saying that Hamilton only has 1 dry pole position here or something. I can't remember. I think I've lost that stat now. But all his other poles here have all been in the rain or changeable conditions. Which I think would have been 2016 maybe, when he took pole and then Rosberg took the lead and disappeared, I think. But yeah, it's also just a big... Last week when Russell retired, I kind of said it didn't really matter in terms of a Mercedes decision, because you know he's doing well, he's doing a good race, the car lets him down, you don't sort of judge him for that, you know, you can see beyond that. But that's a real headline-grabbing performance, isn't it, from Russell? That is a bit, as if we've had plenty in the past, but that almost feels one of the biggest of, like, yeah, that's really, 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 really quite good.
It's headline with a little sprinkling on the top with that medium tyre selection.
Yeah.
It's even read the first part as well, because there's even more than just the Q3. It's the medium tyre that he's on that gives him options for tomorrow. It's not over yet.
Do you remember at the start of this broadcast I said, you know, what about the timing of this announcement for Lewis Hamilton getting a 2-year extension on his contract? The timing for George Russell is absolutely perfect. I mean, he just goes in there. He's trying to get that seat, there is no doubt about it, from Valtteri Bottas. And he just goes, oh, by the way, cooey, I've got Williams and I can get into the final part of qualifying on a medium tyre. But it is worth noting, when it comes to qualifying around the Red Bull Ring, whether it's the Austrian Grand Prix or the Styrian Grand Prix, Bottas has managed to out-qualify Lewis Hamilton 4 of the 6 times they've done qualifying here.
Dutch fans are going berserk in the
They're loving it,
crowd.
aren't they? It's great to hear.
So good to have Atmos back. Brilliant. It's always, the Red Bull Ring is always a happy hunting ground. It so often has been anyway for Verstappen. The Dutch fans flock over and they're all in orange again and chanting their way on the outside as Q3 gets underway. Love to see it.
Love to see it. 9 minutes to go. Stroll and Vettel first out in the Aston Martins, and then Gasly leaving the pit lane now. Tsunoda in the AlphaTauri, and straight out goes Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes ahead of Valtteri Bottas in the other Mercedes. And we'll see what the ultimate battle for pole position can provide, because that's what we're all here for, really, in the end, as Hamilton departs the pit lane and makes his way up towards the right-hand pit lane exit. And then the two Red Bulls heading out. Verstappen ahead of Perez, and it's just George Russell left in the pits, so I wonder if he'll just do one run. He may have used, although we went out quite late in the first part of qualifying, so he might not have used an extra set of softs, but we'll wait and see. 8 minutes to go. This is it then, and I mean, it's looked pretty strong for Verstappen, hasn't it? He was 3/10 quicker in Q1, 3/10 quicker than the Mercedes in Q2. Here's Gasly's radio.
Is the track cooling down a bit because it's more cloudy?
Negative.
Is the track cooling down a bit because it's more cloudy, asks Gasly. The team say no. If the track is cooled by a degree or two, obviously it might make a difference, but does it make a difference to you as a driver? If you know the track is 2 degrees cooler, do you drive any differently? Is it worth knowing on your outlap?
It's all about the tyres, getting the tyres working into the right window. If it's cooled down significantly, then you might want a little bit more front temp in the tyres. But apart from that, not massively. And for just 7 corners, 1 flying lap, it needs to be a big change in conditions for that to be the case.
Right, here comes Hamilton up through turn 1 now. The left-hand kink of turn 2 leads him to the heavy braking zone, into the right-hander of turn 3. Stamps on the brakes, swings it into the right-hander, and then back on the power. Max Verstappen in the Red Bull starts his flying lap now.
Norris is a 10th quicker than both Mercedes in the first sector.
Norris has the quickest first sector here today, which was a 16.1. I presumed that was with a slipstream. Verstappen's actually gone quicker than Norris, but Norris has done a good middle sector as well.
Yeah, watch out for Lando Norris. He wasn't far away from the Mercedes last time out. Hamilton's a fraction quicker through the middle sector, but there's not much in it between Norris and Hamilton coming into the final sector. Bottas.
Norris does a 1 minute 3.958. Bottas has done the fastest middle sector, as you say. Hamilton goes slower than Norris. Hamilton goes slower than the McLaren of Lando Norris. Verstappen is going quicker though. Valtteri Bottas comes through the final corner, goes 3rd. So Lando Norris provisionally ahead of both of the Mercedes, but Verstappen across the line to the top of the times by 0.2 of a second ahead of Lando Norris. There's the cheer. Perez goes 5th. Gasly 6th, Vettel 7th, Tsunoda 8th, Stroll 9th. Big lap from Norris.
Yeah, you could see it unfolding. He was very fast, similar to Verstappen through the first sector. Not so strong through the middle part of the lap, where he lost a bit of time to the 2 Mercedes. But again, brought it back in the final sector, where McLaren are quick in those fast corners. He's on the front row provisionally.
Just check the car over again. A lot of curbs used in the front 2 corners, so yeah, okay.
Wow. Norris! This is kind of what we were having last week, wasn't it? I think we had the discussion, I can't remember if it was on the qualifying show, where Jenny said, oh, did we think Norris was great? And we were like, well, actually, we were expecting something a bit nuts, like a front row start, so to actually qualify 4th was a bit of a shrug. This is what we were looking for from the McLaren driver, and there it is.
It's because he was so close to it last time. He was on the last lap, he was flying, and then just missed out on beating a Mercedes. Well, now, after 1 run in Q3, he's ahead of both Mercedes. Hamilton in 3rd, just a few hundredths clear of Valtteri Bottas. So there's not much to separate the 2 Mercedes, but 6 hundredths separates Mercedes with Lando Norris up in 2nd place.
George Russell yet to go out for his final part of Q3, but we're saying Norris's race engineer is Will Joseph. And for both, I think, Will Joseph and for George Russell, I just wonder how they must be excited. Both of them must be excited. Will must be excited that he's just seen Norris do a phenomenal lap and get himself provisionally onto the front row. And then he comes on the radio just cool as a cucumber. He's so calm. All of those race engineers just managed to go, yeah, don't worry, we'll check the car, no problem. No problem at all. It's just a voice of reassurance. I'd be rubbish in that role. I bet, Lando, that was amazing! They just managed to hide that emotion so well.
They're not there yet, though. They've got another run to come. That's
still.
why you can't You can't get too excited when there's another run to go and you've got Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas, the two Mercedes, trying to beat you. Lando may well have to improve his time to stay on the front row. It's an unbelievable lap to get into this position.
And he did his Q2 on the mediums, didn't he? So it's not like he'd be starting on the softs.
Yeah, he's there with the big boys, but can he stay there? The job is not complete for him. Perez 5th, half a second away from Verstappen. 5th position. At least the good thing for him is Norris isn't separating the Mercedes to Perez at the moment. Norris has got himself ahead of all of that lot.
A couple of tenths adrift of the Mercedes as well, Perez. It's one thing being half a second behind Verstappen, but a couple of tenths adrift of the Mercedes is not ideal. Gasly then 2 tenths further back from that, and he, Vettel, Tsunoda and Stroll are separated by quite a way. I think Stroll must have been on used tyres for that run, because he was a long way off the pace. Jenny?
Yeah, I just wonder how much it would adversely affect Russell not having gone out for a first run in Q3, and he'll just go from the medium run he did at the end of Q2 straight into this last lap dash.
He could have gone for a used set of tyres, which is, I believe, the same as Stroll and quite possibly Tsunoda and Vettel as well. But he's chosen to not muddy his head with the used tyres, just wanted to go for a new set, which presumably he will put on now. Everyone else leaving the garage, no sign of Russell.
Well, they were working quite vigorously on the front of the car, weren't they, after Q2? So we'll see. I mean, even if it would be a stretch for him to genuinely out-qualify, I think, the Aston Martins and the AlphaTauris. Haven't really seen that pace, but he has left the pit lane now.
Soft tyres again. The pace that he ran at the moment from Q2 would put him in the mix would put him ahead of Sebastian Vettel. But what can Vettel do now with a new set of soft tyres on the car for a final run for the Aston Martin as well?
So provisional grid with one run to come. Verstappen, Norris, Hamilton, Bottas, Perez, the top 5. Gasly, Vettel, Tsunoda, Stroll and Russell, the top 10. First out on track is Max Verstappen, being followed by Lando Norris, who is in quite a nice position here to get his Hamilton's radio.
We're good for time, there's a lot of cars ahead.
We are good for time.
Hamilton's saying there's a lot of cars ahead, probably 5 or something, I would say, ahead of Lewis Hamilton. And Norris is in quite a nice little slot here, because he hasn't stuck that close actually to Verstappen. I thought it was one of those he might be able to be close, get a bit of a tow in the first sector, and then I was going to say drop away during the rest of the lap, but that's not really going to be the case, because he's absolutely flying. A minute to go.
Well, he can choose his positioning, can't he? And he has done, behind Verstappen, who's the first car across the line, then Lando Norris in the McLaren, and then Sergio Perez.
Here we go then, final lap in qualifying for the Austrian Grand Prix. The battle for pole is on. Verstappen has it at the moment. Lando Norris is currently second quickest and is flying through the first sector here, and he's actually quicker than Verstappen in sector 1 by a tenth of a second. But the rest of the lap, long way to go. Hamilton and Bottas starting their flying laps now with 30 seconds left. Norris is doing a great job.
Perez and Gasly are both up on Verstappen as well, though, in the first sector. Verstappen's not done a personal best in the first sector, and there's a bit of time there for him. Hamilton and Bottas starting laps now. Hamilton's done a poor first sector.
It's really poor. It's 2 tenths slower than Lando Norris. It's not even a personal best. Norris here, I can't believe Verstappen's not improving. He's coming through the final couple of corners, and Norris is going to be there or thereabouts for provisional pole position. Verstappen across the line, doesn't improve. Lando Norris to the line, doesn't do it. Oh, it's 5/100ths of a second to Max Verstappen. Perez goes up into 3rd place, and neither of the Mercedes are improving. Hamilton 4th and Bottas in 5th. Gasly goes into 6th place. Sebastian Vettel through the final corner remains in 7th position. But the Mercedes are in big trouble. They could be out-qualified here by both the Red Bulls and by Lando Norris. Hamilton through the final corner, drives to the line, does not improve. Not a good lap from Lewis Hamilton. Stroll across the line in the Aston Martin remains in 9th. Here comes George Russell out of the final corner, and the Williams driver goes 9th. But it's Max Verstappen on pole position for the Austrian Grand Prix, but only 5/100ths ahead of Lando Norris in the McLaren. The whole way round that lap, I was thinking, Look, Norris isn't going to take pole. I know it looks like he's going to take pole, but he's not going to. Everything on the timing screens was saying Norris is going to be on pole. He wasn't quite, but he was mighty, mighty close.
Just under half a tenth separates Norris from Verstappen. What a job, Lando Norris. Pats on the back for Red Bull, but the star of today is Lando Norris on the front row in the McLaren. He'll start on the same tyres as everyone around him on the mediums. What a job.
Absolutely outrageous qualifying that from Lando Norris. What, like,
he put it all together. It was exquisite.
One of the best, look, maybe I'm being a bit hyperbolic now, but one of the best qualifying performances that I've sort of ever seen, or am I being a little bit dramatic? It feels like, you remember Hamilton's lap in Singapore and all of those kind of examples. That was absolutely remarkable from Norris.
And no Mercedes in the top three. Perez got himself there. He got himself third when it mattered.
Yeah.
To lock out that top three spot with Max Verstappen and Lando Norris. The Mercedes aren't even going up to the grid now to line up. When was the last time no Mercedes qualified in the top three? It's been a while. Singapore a few years ago, maybe.
Oh yeah, because Bottas did it in Monaco, didn't he?
Bottas was there in Monaco,
yeah.
Third.
Wow. Verstappen on pole, Norris on the front row of the grid, Perez third for Red Bull, fourth and fifth the two Mercedes of Hamilton and Bottas, Gasly sixth, Tsunoda seventh, Vettel eighth, Russell got up into ninth ahead of Lance Stroll in 10th position in the Aston Martin. Sainz will start 11th, 12th for Leclerc, 13th for Ricciardo in the other Red Bull, and that's going to hurt so much watching that. Alonso 14th, 15th for Giovinazzi, Raikkonen, Ocon, Latifi, Schumacher and Mazepin, the 20 drivers. Worth pointing out, that's probably 8th place for Russell on the grid tomorrow, because Vettel will get a 3-place grid drop most likely.
It will be, and starting on the mediums. I mean,
it's coming home.
Well, not for Lewis Hamilton, it's not. But the other two Brits have had unbelievable days today. Norris on the front row, best ever qualifying for him, and what a display. But also George Russell in Q3 on the medium tyres. He's just outdone Lance Stroll, and he's only 200ths away from Sebastian Vettel as well. But it won't matter. Vettel will get a penalty, and he'll start 8th on the better tyre than the Aston Martins tomorrow as well. He can score some points.
Wow. Well, there we go indeed. I don't know what to say. So many things to dissect. Get the Checker Flag podcast later. But for now, let's hear from the pole sitter. The thousands of Dutch fans absolutely jubilant in the grandstands because Max Verstappen is on pole position. We're going to hear from him speaking to Ferdinand Habsburg, the DTM racer. Is it in DTM? I'll find out in between these interviews.
Max Verstappen, pole position. What an incredible result. I mean, a double pole for Red Bull at home. All the extra fans this weekend must have given you extra energy. Talk us through the lap.
I think Q3 was pretty bad. I'm of course happy to be first, but not the way we got it. So something to look into. But of course, to be twice on pole, nevertheless, here is very good. So yeah, hopefully, we can finish it off tomorrow.
Well, the team is really showing its strengths over the last couple races, and it's great for the championship. Is there something that you're thinking about tomorrow, strategy-wise, or something that you really need to focus on?
I mean, it's of course softer compounds compared to last week, so it will be tough to manage those in the race. But besides that, I think, just try to focus on our own race, and of course we'll try to win it. But it's never straightforward. But yeah, we'll see.
Congratulations, well done. Lando, well done, man. Second place. What a result. Everybody's screaming for you. That's for you, man. Austria loves you. You do so well here. Absolutely well done. I hope Zach gives you another broken rib like last year. Man, how do you feel after that?
I feel epic. Yeah, it was cool. I guess after last race, I want to do that one more step, and I did 2 more. So yeah, it's nice. Puts us in a good position for tomorrow. It was probably one of my best laps I've done, I think. So it was a good feeling, and yes, just lovely to share this moment with you, though.
Anyways, everybody, give him a nice big cheer, and you got to tell us all where you ate your schnitzel, because we've got to go there later.
Yeah, cheers, everyone. The fans are cool here. Everyone in orange supporting McLaren, not Max. So it's cool to have them back, and I mean, I know tomorrow's race is going to be tough, but we did the best job we could today. I don't know how far I was off of pole. A bit gutted I didn't go pole, but yeah, I'm happy with P2.
So close, incredible, makes everybody so proud. Well done.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
Sergio, you made it a double top 3 for Red Bull this weekend. Huge improvement from last weekend. What made the difference?
Yeah, well, it's been a pretty hard weekend up to now. You know, we've been chasing a lot the balance, just exploring the car in all areas and just chipping away every single run. So it didn't come easy. You know, it was very hard work, harder than you might think. But yeah, in the end, we got a good lap and a good starting position for tomorrow, because I believe that tomorrow we got a better race car than quali.
Well, you made Austria extremely happy, giving Red Bull another great result in qualifying, and all the hard workers really grateful from the country. So well done, and good luck for tomorrow.
Thanks.
Well, what a top 3. Max Verstappen, not particularly happy with his final lap, but he is in pole position. Lando Norris, clearly delighted, and so he should be as well. A front row start for the McLaren man. And yes, as he points out, the papaya orange fans are all cheering him on quite clearly. And then Sergio Perez starting in 3rd place. Hats off to George Russell, who we think will start P8 after a fantastic qualifying session. Jack Nicholls, just quickly to you. Habsburg, DTM, not DTM?
No.
No.
He was DTM last year, in my defence.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if he was still in the DTM, which isn't even the DTM anymore, really, is it? But no, he races in the World Endurance Championship and the Asian Le Mans Series, and he and Lando Norris were teammates at Carlin in the 2017 Formula 3 European Championship season, so that's why they were so chummy.
Oh, that is great knowledge, Jack Nicholls. Well done. Go and have yourself a reward pizza or something and watch the football. Are you watching the football tonight?
Yeah,
Guessing
what do you mean?
yes.
What? Yeah. But we've got to record the podcast first.
Right, make sure you come back and join us. We are all set up for what should be a fascinating Grand Prix. Norris on the front row. What can he do from there? So many question marks. What happened to Mercedes? Download the Checkered Flag podcast a little later when we will discuss all of this. Make sure you enjoy the football tonight and come back and join us for the race tomorrow. We get underway at 2 o'clock. We shall see you then. This has been an IMG production for BBC Radio 5 Live.